Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to go over converting customary units. I'm going to show you a real easy way for us to go from a larger unit to a smaller unit and convert from a smaller unit to a larger unit. First, we're going to go from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So I'm going to use an example from our book on page 55. Number 1 tells us Miss Maneri made 4.5 quarts of lemonade for a school party. How many fluid ounces of lemonade did she make? So what I know for a fact when I start this problem is I know that Miss Maneri has 4.5 quarts of lemonade. What I need to get to is how many ounces of lemonade she made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line over and build from 4.5 quarts down to ounces. Okay, so I'm going to look at my sheet with my conversions and think, what is smaller than a quart? It's pints. So next I will write pints. Down from that, I'm going to say, what is smaller than a pint? The next thing smaller than a pint is a cup. Okay, still not to ounces yet, so I have to think, what is smaller than a cup? Okay, the next thing from a cup are ounces. Now that I've built that, I'm going to build numbers below my line. Okay, underneath what they give us, where they told us Miss Maneri made 4.5 quarts of lemonade, I'm just going to put the number 1. Because if I look at this like a fraction or a division problem, 4.5 divided by 1 still gives me 4.5. So nothing changes with this right here. I'm going to take this unit, quarts, and move it underneath pints and make them a pair. I'm going to do the same thing with pints and move it underneath cups to pair them up. And lastly, I'm going to move cups under ounces and pair them up. From here, I start from left to right, going from my larger unit to a smaller unit. So I'll look at the pints and quarts and think to myself, which one is larger? Quarts are larger, so I'm going to give them a quantity of 1. Okay, and then I think, how many pints make 1 quart? 2 pints make 1 quart, so I'll put my 2 up there. Now I move to my next pair. I look at cups and pints, and my larger unit gets a quantity of 1. So I have 1 pint. And now I'm thinking, how many cups make up 1 pint? 2 cups make 1 pint. I look at my last pair, ounces and cups. Let's see, cups is my larger unit, so they're going to get a quantity of 1. 8 ounces go into 1 cup, so I'll put my 8 up here. Now I've completed my table that I'm going to use to convert from quarts to ounces. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on the top line and multiply everything from left to right. 4.5 times 2 will give me 9. 9 times 2 gives me 18. And 18 times 8 will give me 144. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom, multiplying from left to right. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 times 1 is 1. So now I'm going to cross out all like units. So I see I have quarts, quarts, pints, pints, cups, and cups. That leaves me with one unit that is not crossed out, which is my ounces, which is the unit that I want. I want it to go from 4.5 quarts and find out how many ounces this is equivalent to. So my final two numbers, I have 144 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So now this becomes a fraction, 144 over 1, which we know 144 divided by 1 will leave us at 144. So my final answer is 144 ounces. Let's look at converting from a smaller unit to a larger unit. Okay? And on page 55, on number 5, it says, a female hippopotamus can weigh 48,000 ounces. How many tons can a female hippopotamus weigh? Well, we're going from ounces to tons. So we're moving from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So I'll start with 48,000 ounces. Okay, since that's our starting point, we now draw our line underneath it, going across, and put a 1 underneath there. Like we said earlier, 48,000 divided by 1 will still leave us at 48,000, so nothing changes right here. And I'm going to build from my smaller unit over to my larger unit. We're talking about ounces as in weight now, instead of capacity like we did in our last problem. And we're thinking about what's larger than an ounce. Well, we know ounces make up pounds. So our next thing up will be pounds. Okay. And we still need to go higher because it wants to know how many tons is 48,000 ounces. So our next unit higher from pounds is tons. So now that we have our table laid out, we're going to take ounces and pair it with pounds, and take pounds and pair it with tons. Now I'm going to look at my pairs, pounds and ounces, and whichever unit is larger, we said gets the quantity 1. In this case, it is pounds. We think, how many ounces are in 1 pound? Well, 16 ounces in a pound. We look at our pair of tons and pounds. Which one is larger unit? It's tons. And we know that 2,000 pounds make up 1 ton. Now that we have completed our conversion table, we can go through and do our math. We see 48,000 times 1. That's going to still leave us with 48,000. So we're going to do 48,000 times 1 again, which gives us another 48,000, no change, by multiplying by 1. And we have 1 times 16, which gives me 16. Now I'm going to do 16 times 2,000, which will give me 32,000. Now that I have that, I have to go through and cross out my like units. So I'm going to cross out ounces and ounces, pounds and pounds, and that leaves me with tons. That's what I wanted. I wanted to go from 48,000 ounces to tons to figure out how much the female hippopotamus can weigh. Now that I have my numerator and denominator of my problem, I see I have 48,000 over 32,000. 2,000. Just like a fraction, this is now a fraction or a division problem. So I'm going to do 48,000 divided by 32,000, which will give me 1.5 or 1.5 tons. All right, guys, there's an easy way for you to convert your units from larger to smaller and smaller to larger units. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and take it with you and ace those assignments.